standard format for most media.
Greetings.
Let's take a step.
Greetings, everyone. I hope everybody's fine today on a Thursday. No, it's not Thursday yet. It's Tuesday. I know everybody. I named this Turkey Day. Pagan, yes or no? Turkey Day. Is it pagan? Yes or no? So I thought this morning I would get your input as to what you think. Turkey Day. Is it pagan? Yes or no? So I want to get feedback from you all today. I want to grab some discussion here and see what you think, see what you say. Is this a pagan holiday or is it not a pagan holiday? In the meantime, just waiting for a couple more people to get in the room. It is 78 degrees. It's 8 o'clock here in South Florida. It's usually about 80, so still within the same ball frame. So it's a nice sunny day. The skies are very clear. T-shirt again. So that's the subject. That's the topic. That's the question. Is it a pagan holiday? Yes or no? So that's the question. That's the question that I'm asking. Now let's talk about what's pagan. A pagan holiday is any holiday that is used as a form of worshiping another god. That's what paganism is when it's a form of idolatry. It's a form of idolatry because you are worshiping something other than the Most High God. Okay? You're worshiping something other than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's what the normal definition of paganism is. So the question is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday? Yes or no? It's a very good, interesting question because a lot of people who are coming into the truth, we know that Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, they all have their form of pagan idolatry mixed in. The one that people sort of don't talk about, they don't discuss because it's a national holiday like Christmas and Easter and all of that stuff is nationally observed, like Halloween. And we all know that the origin of Halloween is not good, and what have you. I'm looking at some comments here, and I want to see what some of you are saying. Somebody says Shalom and good morning, Israelites. Good morning. Good morning. And somebody says good morning and shalom. Good morning. That's Tobiah Vickers. And I think it's Barbara I saw there. Not Barbara. That's Bakar Yuda. And Kansan Ming. He says it's 44 degrees. Okay, so I'm asking this question. Is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday? What do you think? What are your thoughts this morning? A pagan holiday. Is it something that it's okay to sit down with family to be a part of? That's the question this morning. Okay, Kiana, how are you this morning? So that's the question this morning. Is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday? How you doing, Dante? So you got, we know we have God's holy days. We've got Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Pentecost, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement. We have the Feast of Tabernacles, the last great day of the feast, the 8th day of the feast. We have all of those holy days. And Kiana says, I'm honestly not sure. And this is why I wanted to have that discussion this morning, Kiana, because this is one of those days that nobody really labels or classifies or says anything about. They don't say anything about. It's almost like, I don't want to be right, I don't want to be wrong, I'm not for sure, so people just don't talk about it. Either people do it or they don't do it. And so I wanted to bring out some clarity on it. And I'm going to jump into it. I'm just waiting to see what you all say. Now, you might be speaking for everybody. Azza K, how you doing? So what we're asking this morning, Azza K, is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday? Is it? Yes or no? That's the question. It's one of these days that everybody, they don't want to, because it's something that's nationally done by everybody. People don't know. Good morning, Susan. It's supposed to be a harvest feast. We already had our feast days. Okay, so that's a good statement. But that's a very good statement. We've had our harvest. Some people believe that Thanksgiving is a national day of being thankful. Tobias says, yes, it is. Yes, it is pagan. I think that's what Tobias is saying. It's pagan. Okay. I'm just waiting for the comment to come up so we can put there. Now, somebody might be Googling the answer, and that's okay. I do that a lot also. So the issue is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday? Yes or no? That's the answer. That's the question. Is it a pagan holiday? The question should be asked is it, let me see what you said here. Is it serving another, and is it serving the Greek goddess Ceres? Okay. How you doing, Ricky? Shalom to the family, he says. So, I've never heard of the Greek goddess Ceres, so I don't know if there's a connection with the Greek goddess Ceres and Thanksgiving. And as a K Finger says, I have a lesson on this channel. He just did this lesson this past Sabbath on this. I'm gonna go check that out. Bakar Yehuda says it's heathen. It's heathen. Ricky says if it's not in our book, it's pagan. Okay. Okay. Susan says it's man's holiday. Okay. All right. Very interesting. Very interesting thoughts and concepts. Pagan is when you are worshiping, and I want to throw that in as a boomerang. I want to throw in the definition of paganism and idolatry. Paganism is a form of idolatry, and that's when you're worshiping another god in place of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so when you do that, you're like you had Baal, you had we know all of the Greek goddesses that are out there. We know how Saturnalia was a form of worship and it was incorporated. We know the Easter bunny rabbit is dealing with the Queen of Heaven. So those questions, those things we know. I want to know about this turkey. Good morning, Ricky. He says Feast of Tabernacles are some of our feast days. Absolutely. So we have we got the Feast of Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I named them Pentecost, trumpets, atonement, tabernacles, the 8th day. So we have these feast days. So turkey is sitting down around the table with the turkey, like every other family is going to probably do. Is it a pagan holiday? Is it paganism? So here would be my question, my answer to that question. I believe 7 grace is the number of our feast days. Yes, the feast days do lead to a plan of salvation. There is a specific number of them that automatically lead to something. All of the feasts mean something. Everything that we do means something. So let me leave this with you, okay? Let me leave this with you. There is nothing pagan with Thanksgiving. Ricky says, sir, now I'm on the faith. How can I find the true feast days? The feast days are in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, Ricky. And if you look on our channel, we did the last 2 Bible studies, number 1 and number 2, is it. As I says, check out my lesson. Yes, check out Azza's got a very good channel. Azza K Fingers, check out his channel. He does a very good lesson and format. Check him out. I also just did 2 Bible lessons. Number 1, number 2, they're labeled Friday night Bible study. Check those out. And that would perhaps help out as well. But Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, is what God gave to Moses to give to Israel. And those are our days. Those are the days that we celebrate. Now, let me say that. If we just stay right there and say, these are the days for Israel, okay? That's it. These are the days for Israel. You can't go wrong with celebrating just those days. Observing is the word I would like to use. And say, you know what? I want to exclude every other holiday, H-O-L-I, that exists. And you can't be wrong if you choose to do that. For instance, you're going to say, I don't want to recognize the 4th of July. I'll take the day off. I'll spend some time with the family. But yes, Ricky says holiday. I'm going to spend some time with the family, but that's it. You know, 4th of July, it has no spiritual significance. It may have a historical significance, but not necessarily a biblical significance. And some people may choose that if it does not have a biblical significance, they exclude it. For instance, okay, the Feast of Lights. Some people use the scripture they try to connect it with Hanukkah and the Feast of Lights, that this is what we do. And I tell people, you know, I don't celebrate it because it's not a part of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Everything that God wanted us to keep he put it in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. That being said, you cannot go wrong. You just cannot go wrong with doing that. Let's get to Thanksgiving. There's nothing pagan about Thanksgiving. There may be something that is morally incorrect about Thanksgiving. And somebody's going to say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, Thanksgiving, we may not have the entire truth about Thanksgiving. Now, Brother Benaiah Israel just posted a very good lesson on his channel, and I thought it was a good lesson. I really did. And Thanksgiving may not be what one thinks that it should be. So he did a very good lesson, I thought, concerning the history of Thanksgiving. And I think they're called the Pequot Indians, and what the settlers who came to America, what Thanksgiving meant to them. So the very foundation of Thanksgiving, and the reason why they were celebrating it, there are books out there that tells you what they were celebrating, and what they did was they burned down, the pilgrims burnt down an entire tribe of Indians, okay? And they were celebrating that. And so that has been passed on, and it became a national holiday. Now, those things are not going to be told in our history books. So that alone, somebody might say, you know what? It's a day off. I'm going to spend some time with my family, and that's it. And some people are going to get around the table and talk about the pilgrims and stuff like that. So, but in essence, there's no worshiping in Thanksgiving. It has a history that's a dark eye over America. It really does. It has a history that is not being taught. Okay, so remember, that's something important to realize. So people don't touch it because they think it's pagan. And I don't want you to falsely tell somebody that something's pagan when it's not actually pagan. But it does have a historical purpose behind it that America does not talk about. As a case says, it goes back further than that. Well, you know, it may, and I haven't seen that lesson. And I never really studied Thanksgiving other than what is told in America history books. Because in America history books, the origin of what is presented is that it was done initially by the pilgrims, and it was a kumbaya that they had with the Indians. And that's not necessarily true. I live in Florida, and you got the Seminole Indians, and when you talk to them, it's not so true that it was a kumbaya between the pilgrims and the Indians, and they welcomed each other. And they had a sit-down feast and killed a couple of turkeys and just had a Thanksgiving. That's not true. Now, if Thanksgiving goes far beyond that, I'm going to look at Azakay's lesson to see what he has. I'm interested in that. So that's my understanding of Thanksgiving based upon what I was told in the American school system, that the origin of it goes there. And Ricky Sansbury says, if it's not Abba Father, then it's out of order. And you know, that's what I said earlier, Ricky. Some people may say, you know what? I'm not celebrating anything that's not in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. If it don't have anything to do with the Most High, I don't observe it, including the 4th of July, you know. But I would be one to tell you, when I was working before I retired, I used to love 4th of July. I used to love the day off on 4th of July. Just like on Thanksgiving, I like the day off on Thursday and Friday. You know what I mean? But once I started to pay closer attention that people can make their history books whatever they want to. They really can. They can make their history books whatever they want to. And once I realized that the history of what people tell as a country is not always true, I started to do some research. And what I was told as a kid coming up in school in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade was that the Pilgrims came over and they were welcomed by the Indians. Welcome. No. Wasn't nobody welcome here. These Indians didn't like anybody coming out, pushing them out of the land. There was a complete genocide done. And when that genocide done, there was a celebration by the Pilgrims. And so that's the dark history and the truth behind it that some people don't like to talk about. So I just wanted to share that with you. Because somebody asked me, hey, is this a pagan holiday that we're not supposed to be celebrating? And I did not have any answer to link it to paganism, other than it is a historical dark side of a genocide that was done, and to celebrate what was done, the slaughter of a people and the stealing of a land. That's basically what Thanksgiving is. That's basically what it is. Now, some people say, well, let's just make it a day of Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving to the Most High, you know, a day of prayer. I mean, people do things to try to hide the dark secret, but you got to unfold what you were really doing. You got to unfold that, because what was being celebrated was the genocide of a nation. So another colonialism, that imperialism practice, can come in. That's the truth behind it. So I just wanted to leave that with you. I'm gonna have me a hamburger and some oxtails and some brown stew chicken, and sit down with family, talk about the scriptures, because it's off for everybody. And I'm going to take advantage of it, but I'm not celebrating a genocide that took place. So just wanted to leave that to you. Check out Azakay's lesson. He did a lesson on it. Thank you, Azakay. You all check that out. And also, you know, Azakay did a lesson. Benaya Israel did a lesson on it. You all check that out. And just wanted to say peace and thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.